So I hope Facebook is happening over here, and I hope Instagram is also happening over here. Hello, hello. How are we all doing? Are we all out here? How you doing? Doing good? So let's tune our guitar. Got the microphone. It's right up here, see? Put it up here like that. Yeah, microphone is a red dot. Yeah, I tune my guitar differently. I have the first string is B3 plus, B plus 3, G10, G minus 10, D, A, E, and E. Right? So from the sixth string, it's E, fifth is A, E, fourth is A, third is D, second is G minus 10, and first is B plus 3. This is open tuning style. from my first album, East Meets West. You're the one. You're the one. I made my choice. Girl, you're the one. Yeah, so see what we got? We're almost there. 5 more minutes. Let me tune my other guitar. We're gonna play this later on. Just so I tune it the same way, open tuning, call it mainline acoustic slack key tuning. The sixth string, the first sixth string is the sixth string is E, the fifth string is E, the fourth string is A, the third string is D, the second string is G negative 10, and first string is B positive 3. Girl, you're the one. You're the one. That's on my East Meets West first album. Alright, we're gonna stick with my Ibanez guitar with my red, white, and blue strap, and we're just gonna do the Fi low. First in is gonna be the last out. So what we're doing is virtually logging in to the Garden of Eden virtually, and then we're gonna log out of the Garden of Eden virtually. It's a login virtual, heaven, and log out. We're practicing this for those that believe in the afterlife, that we will die, our body will return to dust, but our soul spirit, or our spiritual soul, will connect to heaven. But first we have to go enter the Garden of Eden, or what you call the gate of heaven, which is the garden. The gate is in the east gate of the Garden of Eden. All right, so that's the gate of heaven. All right, as we die, our ashes to ashes, dust to dust return to the soil, but our spiritual soul will take us to the gate, the east gate of the Garden of Eden. And so we have to log in virtually, and we practice this for those who know the Catholic faith, the purgatory faith, and general Christians. My show every Friday, we talk about the past, the present, the future. And so we open with the first in, and it will be the last out. We log in first as the first in, and it's the Lord's Prayer, Matthew chapter 6. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us from every evil, O Lord. Oh, hello, this is FRIDAYREDS. This is yours truly. Today I am the USA Emiliano Zapata, and we are in character as the modern day Emiliano Zapata. If you don't know the history of California and Mexico, and the after the Spanish-American War, USA took over many properties that belonged to the Mexican Empire, New Spain. USA took Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California, and the Philippines. USA took those territories in 1899, and of course they took Hawaii as well. And Emiliano Zapata, the Emiliano Zapata in 1900 is the revolutionary hero with Pancho Villa during the Mexican Civil War. And so I'm in character as Emiliano Zapata, but I am today's modern day 2023 USA Emiliano Zapata. Is that confusing enough? See, we have Tammy Peggy. Aloha. Jamie Peggy. Yes. So this show, I do this every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We talk about the past, the present, and the future. And we call it Friday Reds because it's not Monday Blues, it's Friday Reds. There's a lot of things happening on Friday. So let me put a little light on this note. A little glare there, bright, but I usually have I usually write a little script before I do the show. Sometimes I improvise. I'm gonna turn off that guitar. The guitar has been humming. All right, so Friday Reds. We talk about the past, present, future, and I just want to say present time. We want to say that prayer is for the LAHAINA victims and the devastating incident. Because as I mentioned, Emiliano Zapata, he was born on August 8th. And I was posting on my Facebook about Emiliano Zapata and you know, we the people. That reminds me, yeah, we have to say the aside from the first in and last out verse to log in the Garden of Eden, we have to also say the mission statement of the U.S. Constitution, which is the preamble, and of course the Star Spangled Banner. So we do that and we call it the Star Spangled Preamble. And I guess I'm gonna have to chant it. And it goes like this: We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Again, let me remind everyone, we U.S. citizens must follow the mission statement of the U.S. Constitution, which is the preamble, as I chanted the first verse, we the people. It is mandatory that every U.S. citizen, K to 12, all the way to the business level, all the way to the senior citizens. It is mandatory that you must know the mission statement of the U.S. Constitution, which is a corporate type definition of every right. And there are 27 amendments of the U.S. Constitution to better our lives as human beings, as U.S. citizens of this incorporated government called the United States of America. And so we, the people, have been amending the Constitution 27 times, and the 28th must be protection from artificial intelligence, creating employment. No, not even employment. Even if you don't work, that the universal basic income should go for basic housing and food. That's it. How basic is that for every U.S. citizen? Mandatory. And even those that arrived newly. So we have to keep because we are the people of the Constitution, of that government. We the people of the United States, especially the tax-paying citizens that have been paying taxes since they were able to work or able to pay goods from any grocery store or any merchandise. We've been paying taxes. So all I know is I've been paying USA taxes since I was 10 years old. And I was working when I was 15 and a half. Well, I was already working when I was 10. All right, so I brought up Emiliano Zapata because in the Mexican Civil War, a lot of Mexicans are killing Mexicans, you know, and they brought that here in the United States, Chicanos killing Chicanos. It is unfortunate that here in the United States, Mexicans claim all the credit of the Chicano movement, but it was the Filipinos, Asian American Filipinos that started the strike in California, the Great Strike, the 60s, and it became the Chicano movement because it wasn't just Mexicano, it was also Chicano. And the idiots of, the since 1973, Mexican Americans have been basically dominating and not looking at Chicano as a combination of Asian Americans and Mexican Americans, or Hispanic Americans, Asian American and Hispanic Americans, which is the right word, Chicano, the right definition. And that's why a lot of people are labeling themselves Latinx, because some of the El Salvadorians says, I'm not Mexican. And then, they keep labeling themselves as something different. But it's already been defined in the 60s. And every American is benefited from Larry Itliong, Filipino World War II veterans that worked in only kind of jobs they can get is work out in the fields. Grape fields and orchards, pears, asparagus fields. That's the only jobs that brown men could get. But then the dominant Mexicans, Larry Leong and Philip Veracruz, they invited Mr. Texan from Texas, Cesar Chavez. All right. But after 1973, when Bruce Lee was killed, or they say it was an accident, and then Larry Leong died, a lot of Asian Americans were suppressed in being here since way before 1520s, way before 1420, not 1492. The Olmecs are Asians. Anyways, all I can say is, and Native Americans are from Asia. They came from the Philippines. But, they blocked the Filipino history, U.S. history of Filipinos. They always say Chicano is Mexican, Zoot Suit is Mexican. Hell no. All right? We got to teach these Mexican Americans the true history of the United States, USA history, basic lessons of the United States. And we're going back to Emiliano Zapata, Pancho Villa, and even way before that is Juan Diego. So Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa were we're just basically citizens of the remaining Mexico empire, but there was a corrupt president that basically was corrupt for the terms that he'd been there, maybe over 9 years. His name was Porfirio Diaz. These are Mexicans of Mexico, but he was a bad president. He was a fascist, corrupt Mexico president, and the peasants had enough, and so brought up civil war, Mexican Civil War, and Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa joined forces because they're peasants. Pancho Villa represented the mestizos, the half-breeds, you know, peasants, more Spanish-looking mestizo, but peasants. And of course, Emiliano Zapata was more dark-skinned, blackish, negrito Indio, that he represented the peasants, hardworking class. So this was already in the 1900s, 1900 to 1910. This is way after the Spanish-American War, all right? So the Mexican Civil War, Pancho Villa, Emiliano Zapata, they told the government to restart, reassign, and redo, and not Porfirio Diaz, remove him from because he's terrible. And Pancho Villa was asked to be the president of Mexico, but he said, no, we need somebody that's a college graduate, not him. But you don't need to be a college graduate. You just need to be a strong leader to guide your people to a just cause. But so when Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata returned to their places in the territory in Mexico, whoever took over had bad ideas and were somehow tied up with, again, the politics of Porfirio Diaz. And so these Mexicans that were given the opportunity to lead Mexico to a better Mexico, they went after and attempted to assassinate all the revolutionary leaders. And when Emiliano Zapata heard of this, he figured a way where he tried to make peace. You know, what's going on? We fought the Mexican Civil War and we won. Why are you back to this garbage? But they didn't listen to Emiliano Zapata of Mexico. And so he planned an escape plan, Plan de Ayala. Because Plan de Ayala was an idea that he had to give people land and opportunity to deliver a better life for all the people of Mexico. But unfortunately, again, the corrupt Mexico politicians, they just went after Emiliano Zapata. He died. They said that he got killed 1911, April 10th, 1911. But he escaped the Plan of the Ayala, because when USA took the Philippines in 1899, there were a lot of Mexicans in the Philippines, because Philippines was in Mexico. It was if you look at the old maps of Mexico, Filipinas was a territory of the Mexican Empire, the New Spain, and it had an emblem representing the New Spain emblem of the territory of Filipinas, from 1492 to 1890s. So in 1911, before April, Emiliano Zapata, Mexico, Emiliano Zapata hid and took off to the Philippines. That's what the angels whispered to me. But all I can say is, here in the virtual Garden of Eden, we have to tell the truth, and this is the gut feeling I have about Emiliano Zapata escaping his, they call him his brave. I'd rather stand than bend on my knees. That was his statement. If you want to know more about Emiliano Zapata, he has a last name Salazar. Google, look up the Wikipedia on him. But I believe he either stayed as a Salazar in Manila or Ayala. And in Manila, the Ayala family, Mexican people, aside from the Gutierrez, Richard Gutierrez, there's very wealthy Mexicans in the Philippines before Philippines was a U.S. territory, and then USA abandoned it in 1946 because there were too many black Filipinos that were coming in the U.S. and they were doing eugenics in 1946 to 1950s. USA, white supremacists, Jim Crow, they were ethnic cleansing the United States. Can you imagine they sterilized brown women or black women, women of color that are indigenous to Alta California, and attempted to deport Mexican Americans or Alta Californians that have been here millions of years. But they try to deport them to what is now Little Mexico, that is now chopped up. But anyways, we can go again to the Plan de Ayala, the plan, the Ayala plan. That was Emiliano Zapata's vision for Mexico, as well as, prior, which was the Mexican Empire. But they were weakened because President Polk of the United States wanted to more cause trouble and, slowly encroach and acquire the manifest destiny from the East Coast to the West Coast. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, USA just grabbed them. So Emiliano Zapata, after the war, Civil War in the 1900s and 1911, April 10th, he disappeared. He was in the history book as courageous, but they called him bandit because Mexico, the ones that Pancho Villa and Emiliano assigned, they bit back at them, the poor people, the peasants. They put an educated person to be the and today, those people, Porfirio Diaz, or the people that were pro Cortez, welcoming Europeans to come and populate or depopulate Mexico, or Mexico Empire prior to Texas being taken. Mexico, it was just these pro-European and anti-indigenous enslavement of indigenous. These were the elite Mexicans, the white-looking mestizos, or the Spanish, and that were the opposition. Again, Emiliano Zapata was not for them, and so same with Pancho Villa, that Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata, they wanted, uh, integration, equality, no slavery, which Mexico didn't abandon slavery because there were many mixed breed hybrids, mestizos, both Creole and mulattoes in Mexico. And so the reason why I bring back the Mexican Civil War is 2023, we have some form of a civil war, but it's political war in the sense of men, corrupt white male businessmen are running the government. And aside from running the government, you have political conflicts between these businessmen, like long-term political versus a new businessman who runs his corporation terrible. I mean, by ripping off the we the people, the mission statement of the Constitution. You can't have business people that have run their business and treat their employees or their citizens on their corporations, right? You cannot treat them poorly. And apparently, people love this businessman, a TV show person, and they want him back, but observation and technique, he didn't want to let go power, and January 6th occurred, misled a lot of believers, and they still are misled, believing such a businessman can pull out the United States government from its situation. But no, the only way to get the government in its situation is people like Emiliano Zapata. And now I am USA Emiliano Zapata today. I'm encouraging a Barbie phenom where a USA president is female for 2024. It can save the United States of America and remove these corrupt politicians and corrupt businessmen that are getting into politics, or corrupt businessmen that corrupts the politicians of the United States of America. There have been so many that propose to remove or ban any politician that are being funded by corporations. There should be no funding from corporations or donations to any politicians. And if any politician accepts any bribery or corrupt benefits from corporations, it should be a no-no. Okay, because we the people, we work for these corporations, and the USA is set up a corporation style, but the mission statement states we the people, and so we have every right to ratify the Constitution of any business, Constitution of the United States, and Constitution of these corporations, the bylaws and Constitution of any corporation. And the United States bylaws and Constitution begins with a mission statement, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So we the people have to voice out. And that's where the Writers Guild, I said, hey, give us better working conditions. Benefits, same thing. SAG-AFTRA got involved in helping the Writers Guild. There is no acting if there's no script. It's not acting. Okay? So it's just like a monologue, like what I'm doing. But I am in character as USA Emiliano Zapata, and that United States, we the people, the mission statement of the U.S. Constitution, which is a corporate style letter, bylaws and constitution and bylaws of the U.S. business, that we the people, we've been revising it for the past 27 amendments, and we're gonna do more with the 28 to protect humanity, to protect red-blooded human beings, because we cannot let these corporate entities be compared to one U.S. citizen. A corporate entity cannot bully a single U.S. citizen. And if it does, it has to be reported. Imagine that one U.S. citizen is a little child, a minor, and that corporation bullied that one child, like human trafficking. Corporations could run a business that indirectly injures one little child or many little children. That's why we the people have to put Amendment 28 to protect a single U.S. citizen from the breach or injuries of a corporation. Because a corporation is comprised of many people. So one citizen is outnumbered, bullied by many people in one single corporation. And that's been happening too long. I think this has been happening since 1973. Today is August 11th. The movie American Graffiti was released August 11th, 1973. And that movie had a character, the only Chicano character in that movie was an actor named Manuel Padilla Jr. He died in 2008, and no recognition at all in Modesto or any kind of event celebration of him. And he died the same year as my dad died, 2008. But I'm just saying that one citizen cannot be bullied by a corporation that is comprised of board members, right? So by default, one citizen is outnumbered already by a LLC or 501c. They're already bullying a single citizen. That's unfair, unethical business. So 28th Amendment should protect from a corporation, and of course we have the anti-monopoly, where one corporation gobbles up small corporations or small businesses. Again, that's also monopoly, and we have to push that monopolies, business monopoly is not good. All right, they're pushing these bills in California, where these major corporate restaurants are eating up local small mom and pop restaurants. Some small and pop want to be rescued because COVID-19 messed them up, their business plan 3 to 5 year. But anyways, for those businesses that have still survived when they started their business during COVID, I clap my hands for you, because you've done a good job. And if you make the 5 year and you have positive, you're gonna be able to franchise your business and get more funding. So Emiliano Zapata passed. I talked about it. Then of course, 50 years, the American Graffiti story about Modesto, the life in 1962. And I don't know. There were also in that time frame in 1973, the thing about the character, the Chicano character, was named Carlos, and also in 1973, Carlos Bulusan, a book author, an Asian American book author of Filipino heritage, he wrote books, and he was discovered in 1973, but he was here in the U.S. from the Philippines when Philippines was U.S. territory. So he's USA born because Philippines was U.S. territory when he was born in the Philippines in 1913 or 1911, same time as Emiliano Zapata was shot. But Philippines was a U.S. territory, so all the people in the Philippines were U.S. citizens, just like the way Puerto Rico is now and Guam. But so they come to the mainland and just remain there. So that's what Carlos Bulusan did. But in '73, maybe George Lucas, when he was writing in the script in 1973, '72, he had Carlos in mind. But in the original script of American Graffiti, they had a derogatory name called Beaner. But the character that actor Manuel Padilla Jr. played, but in the movie it's Carlos. But in the old original script, when I did my research here at Stanislaus Public Library, uh, I was shocked to see Beaner. I was shocked if it wasn't even called wetback or beaner. But anyways, those are derogatory terms for labor workers out in the fields, agricultural. And I brought, again, Emiliano Zapata was in the agricultural Mexico, farming. So 1973, it's significant. 50 years ago, it was like a flashpoint. A lot of things were happening. The first microprocessor in Silicon Valley was created. Microprocessor, I think it was a Z80 or something, a microprocessor, and then came 8080 and 6809, microprocessors that were used for the IBM PC and the Apple computer. I think the 65C02, that's what it's 6502. I worked on that microprocessor. I was able to program and develop transmission equipment that powered the circuit board. Anyways, and a 68,000 microprocessor from Motorola. Anyways, that was back in the days of my microprocessor programming. But 1973, when Bruce Lee died and Larry Leong died, oh boy, they gave the credit to only Cesar Chavez, a Texan, not a Californian. It's amazing when the city of San Jose or the judicial branch that gave the winning Wilga that every American must have a break room, a decent restroom break room, and every 2 hour, 15-minute break. That was because of Larry and Leon, the Filipinos in Delano, California. They invited Cesar Chavez from Texas because many Mexicans were crossing the picket lines. So they needed Cesar Chavez to stop the Mexicans from crossing the picket line, But the Filipino Asian Americans started this, and they won. But 1973, when Bruce Lee died and Larry Leong died, oh boy, Asian Americans were suppressed. And so they gave all the credit to Cesar Chavez. They go, oh, he's the Martin Luther King of brown people, but that's wrong. The real hero in the Chicano movement is Larry Leong. Larry Leong. Man, I don't know why the Tejanos or Texicans take all the credit and gave it all to Cesar Chavez, a Texan, when the incident and the event was in California, and it was California Chicano Americans that began the Great Strike and the breaks, the demand for better working conditions, better wages. But yeah, unfortunately, Asians, Filipinos, and Mexican, in the valley, they've been interracially been having babies. So Mexicans have Filipino blood in them, and vice versa. And it's just wrong when what the United States did by chopping up the Mexican Empire and then raped and plundered the Philippines in 1900 to 1911 and eugenics. Imagine Filipinos, USA cavalry, they killed over 3 million Filipinos, black Filipinos. And the blacks of America joined forces with the black Filipinos because what they were doing, the US cavalry, was genocide. And nobody told the story, but this was after the Spanish American War. There was called a Philippine American War. It was a short blip. It lasted until 1911, same time for when Emiliano Zapata was supposedly assassinated. But August 11th today, 1973, 50 years ago, the story of American graffiti, Modesto in 1962. So 1962, listen to this. Before 1962 was 1959. A plane crash happened. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and Big Bopper. Big Bopper was the one that sang Chantilly Lace, Chantilly Blue, Chantilly. That was Big Bopper. And then Richard Valens, Oh Donna, La Bamba, la Bamba, right? And of course, Buddy Holly, right? Buddy Holly was a legend. And so 1959 was the day the music, the rock and roll died, right? That's why in 1962, American Graffiti was very musical. Musical tracks, the Platters, Chuck Berry. I mean, there was this great music soundtrack of that movie American Graffiti about Modesto in 1962. And then a year later, after 1962, 1963, there was another plane crash. The day country music died. Okay, 1959 was the day rock and roll died. But on 1963, it was the day country musicians died. It was Patsy Cline, the girl that sang Crazy. Boom, 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 boom. I'm feeling crazy. Yeah, Patsy Cline. She died on a plane crash. Same with Cowboy Copas. He sang Tennessee Waltz. Dear, as I held you so close in my arms, angels were singing a hymn to the charm. Is that right? That's the right song, right? Tennessee Waltz. And Filipino Baby. That's Cowboy Copas. He also died in that plane crash. And then two other people that were related to Patsy Cline and Cowboy Copas. So 1963 was the day country music died. And so when George was formulating American Graffiti in 1972, after making the student film T11 THRX, I think it was his first movie that didn't Francis Ford Coppola helped him out on it, and so it didn't really make a major, what do you call it, until he made American Graffiti in 1962. That boom, it derived other unfortunately the storyline was about Modesto, but it was not filmed in Modesto. It's filmed in Petaluma. And so coming today as USA Emiliano Zapata, I'm telling Modesto business people, you have to look at the opportunity for creating films in Modesto. Even though American Graffiti was filmed in Petaluma, another set far away from the actual city, American Graffiti USA, we the people, Modesto is the heart. It's the hub of American culture. And I told these business people, you know, so yeah, there's a Central Valley Film project that's funded by the State Arts Council. Um, they, they, they had that meeting July 20th. I attended it, but I made some few comments, and I told them that one of my problems here in Stanislaus County is casting people that are loyal and they're not afraid of doing business uh, in a Screen Actors Guild uh, independent as an independent story filmmakers, SAG indie, because it's the opposite of the strikes in Hollywood right now is against the corporations, the studios, the business practices of studios and board members of those studios that all they want is profit, and they minimize the share profit of writers, actors, directors, the Imagineers. The Imagineers should be compensated well and should have a percentage of the finished property for the rest of their life. That should be the motivation. That's how it was. In fact, if you were in a commercial, um, if that commercial runs nationwide, that would pay your residual for the year. But the way it is now, you only get paid for the one-time shot, and if they scanned you, and the AI, they, they might reuse your image without you knowing, your voice. That's why I don't authorize anyone using my image without any permission or without any residuals. So compensation, you have to compensate people if you use their image, their pictures, their photos. And that's my policy when I create independence, Screen Actors Guild Independent, SAG Indie. Because I joined SAG before AFTRA merged as SAG AFTRA. But I pursued for lead roles, but they treated me like a man just came from south of the border, and they said, hey, you belong in Home Depot. We're quick labor ready. Hispanics were waiting in front of or at the outside gate of Home Depot on Sunset Boulevard. It was just like, I don't understand these Hollywood executives, but they've caught them. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, they've caught these human traffickers and bullies to women preying on young, beautiful girls and even boys. I mean, because LGBTQ is huge in Hollywood, especially West Hollywood, but they prey on young boys and girls. And that's got to stop, because the sound of freedom is coming on. It's exposing these executives, the producers and executives, board members of these corporations. They're exposing these rich SOBs, But for a Chicano like me, representing Filipino-Mexican integration, Chicanos, the stories of Larry Young and Cesar Chavez. I mean, they did an initial biopic of Cesar Chavez starring Michael Pena. Michael Pena is a Scientologist. He's a member of the Scientology. But Michael Pena is a good actor. He's Chicano. But they only pick him. They only use him because the agents probably, that rep him are probably Scientologists themselves. Scientology is a huge corporation. And so Scientologists, they got to get their act together and match the preamble of the U.S. Constitution, which is the mission statement. We, the people of the United States. So Scientologists should do the same thing. We, the people of the Scientology. It should be run by the people of Scientology, not some few board members that make decisions, the decision-making board members for the entity. No, it should have members' votes. And that's what it should be. You know, citizens, we vote for the representation. We vote for the person that will represent us at the board, at the House, at the Senate, right? And we select a good judge, judicial branch. Because if a judicial branch is a lifetime position, if the judicial branch is doing things wrong, we the people can act on it. All right? So the mission statement of the U.S. Constitution, every corporation needs to copy, needs to update and revise their policies and procedures and their bylaws and constitution. Because you cannot bully a one single sound of freedom child. That's been happening too long. That's why businesses that were busted, like Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, there are still more people in Hollywood and Broadway. There are still executives like that. So all I can say is, for my company, when I put together a SAG-AFTRA content creation, they will forever be employed for that lifetime of a finished music video or film feature. Their portion, that's the percentage they get, how much work and time they put in the project. And it's all got to be accounted for. And you will never fire a person. You will never delete or replace his Photoshop, his image, or, you know, that person will always be getting a percentage for the lifetime of that content. Unlike intellectual property content, like say the Rifleman or the old content called the Night of the Living Dead. Now it's that property is owned by a single company or a single intellectual property person that's benefiting it by relicensing and not selling it, but renting or relicensing it out to major networks or TV stations or servers out there. All I can say is we the people have to speak up. So where was a present time? I did a little poetry regarding Lahaina. Lahaina was devastated. Unbelievable. August 8th, I was celebrating the birthday of Emiliano Zapata, and then that occurred. Like a strong wind blew into Lahaina, as if like, because it's 33 years ago. That's the last time I seen Lahaina. I seen the banyan tree, and I swear the last time I was there, I was heartbroken. I was in tears. My spiritual soulmate left me. She, at the time we were married still, but Lahaina allowed adultery, encouraged adultery, and I was a witness. My wife was with someone else. My soulmate, and the people of Lahaina did that to me, and I was in tears, trying to get back and get my soulmate back, but I couldn't, and so I had to commit a spiritual soulmate suicide. Get that? Spiritual soulmate suicide. 33 years ago, I committed that. And that was the last time I seen Lahaina and the banyan tree. We indigenous Californians and Pacific Islanders, for us, the tree is like the place to meet. It was like a gathering place, a giant tree. Like here in Modesto, it's the acorn tree, the giant acorn. It would be the council tree, the place we gather and talk and meet under the tree. And Lahaina banyan tree, 33 years ago was the last time I seen it. And so 33 years, when I committed the spiritual soulmate suicide, I basically took out my old soul, my old spirit from my soulmate, so that there was no more pain, no more tears. But it took a while because my tears were overflowing 33 years ago. So I'm now, my new soul, my new spirit, I'm now 33 years old since that time I seen Lahaina. And it's funny because August 8th is Emiliano Zapata's birthday, 1879, I believe. And August 10th is a friend of mine. Happy birthday, Celestial Crest. It was his birthday. And then, of course, August 11th, the American Graffiti birth month, 50-year anniversary. So these last 3 days, this past 3 days, has been spiritual for me. So I wrote this poetry, and I want to share it today. To me, it's a unique poetry because only I experienced it 33 years ago. And spiritually, I feel I'm 33 years old, but I'm actually, older than that because I'm a time traveler, past, present, future. But I said here, Lahaina Burning. That's the first title was Spiritual Soulmate Suicide. That would be like this idea of a title of the poetry. And verse 1 was like this. Verse 1. 33 years ago to now. Lahaina then, 33 years ago. I could have loved you always and forever. Spiritual soulmate suicide. Stolen with our children. Sound of freedom. Felt tears from my eyes. Lahaina now, August 2023. I still love you, always and forever. My reborn then, per scripture John 3. Spiritual suicide, spiritual soul. Spiritual soulmate suicide. 33 years like Yahusha, Jesus, Yahweh. He was 33. I believe. Slow to anger, Yahuwah, Yahweh. Yahusha taught me slow to anger. Today, Lahaina, I believe. I wrote that poetry because 33 years ago, I was angry, I was crying, I was, and I may have said, burn in hell, but it's been 33 years since I had that kind of a mode, that feeling in Lahaina. The county of Maui, I have history there, and I have not gone back. Well, I popped in back in 2002 and stuff, but Lahaina was the last time I saw. Lahaina was in 33 years ago, and it had something to do with my ex. But scripture says, there's men like Job, men like Hosea, the prophets. But I am not a prophet. I'm just a storyteller. I'm just saying that witnessing a strange sudden storm and fire, wind and fire, burning the entire Lahaina town. My main area when I lived in Maui was in the Iao Valley, Wailuku Heights area. So I believe God is on that mountain. That's my opinion, is on that side of the mountain. God sleeps there, because that same in Eau Valley and Wailuku Heights and Wailuku Heights and Eau Valley, it's like mountains that I've seen, that the presence of Yahuwah, God, is there. That's the same feeling when I went to Boulder, Colorado. That certain part of the Boulder, mountain, you can feel the spirit of Yahuwah, Yeshua. But Lahaina is on the other side. The Hawaiian kingdom, it was supposed to be the original capital. But I pray for Lahaina, and I share that little poetry. And let me see if I could. Lahaina. 33 years ago, I could have loved you. Lahaina, then 33 years ago, I could have loved you always and forever. Spiritual soulmate, suicide, stolen with our children. Sound of freedom, felt tears from my eyes. Lahaina now, August 2023. I still love you, always and forever. My reborn life, spiritual me, 33. Then, spiritual soulmate, suicide. Letting go, new spiritual soul. 33 years, Yahushua, Jesus, Yahweh. I believe Yahusha, slow to anger. Today, I believe. Lahaina, I cry for you. Lahaina, I cry for you. Lahaina, ooh, oh, Lahaina blue. Paniolo cowboys, vaqueros, Makawao lahaina, kihe waluku heights kahuloy. I still love you, Lahaina. Rebuild for true. Yeah. Outlaw country, it's gonna be released pretty soon. Lahaina blues, Lahaina burning. "33 years ago was the last time I saw Lahaina. I was under the banyan tree, my tears were falling, my soulmate left me. I was an outlaw till the city of Maui. I wanted justice. I had my Smith & Wesson ready to revenge, but I said, slow to anger, let it go. Maui, Paia was the place I stayed. I cried at Lahaina. My soulmate wanted to get her satisfied. Had to commit spiritual soulmate suicide, cutting off and let my spiritual soul die. 33 years ago. Now it's 2023, August 8th to today. Devastated. 53 or 63 dead bodies. They say it's gonna be more. Devastated more. 1,000 buildings burning. I still love you, Lahaina. Lahaina. Oh, Lahaina. Maharlika Kingdom. Maharlika Kingdom. Oh, Lamoya Kingdom. Lahaina, I still love you. Peace. All right, so we're on OT. We gotta go. I'm just gonna go check out the cruising tonight, but I'm gonna end my share that poetry copyrighted 2023 August 11th eCELi all rights reserved. Again, I don't authorize any AI or any stealing of my content or my image without my written permission and without my consent. And I expect some residuals if you use it for any kind of situation, but I'm a SAG-AFTRA union actor, and we are on strike for better rights, better working conditions, as well as better compensations and wages, and help inclusive casting, like the movie Barbie was inclusively casted. It had all the red person, white person, black person, blue person, a yellow person, mixed person. That's the kind of content creation from now on, hopefully after the strike. But in the meantime, support the Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA unions and guilds to have better working conditions and better wages to survive Los Angeles. It's an expensive city. All right, so let's close with we have to log out of the Garden of Eden, the Garden of Eden, virtual Garden of Eden. And if your spirit is in the Garden of Eden and you want to go visit Earth, because the goal of the Lord's Prayer is to bring heaven on earth. The kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven, right? So when you've died and your spirit, your soul spirit is in the Garden of Eden, now to log out, to get out, you know, obey the law of the land. You know the mission statement, law of the land, and the bylaws and the Constitution. So we sing a cappella style the Star Spangled Preamble National Anthem 2.0. It goes like this: We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, and to the netizens out there. All right, so out in the country, in a little town, or like Oakdale or Grange, Murphy's, Copperopolis, out in the neck of the woods, or down in Bakersfield, visit the Buck Owens Museum. This is how we log out. Our Father, Matthew chapter 6. Yahushua Jesus is Lord. Praying to his dad, Yahweh. Our Father, who art in heaven, Holy, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, so we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us from every evil, O Lord. All right. Thank you very much for watching, especially Tammy Peggy. All right, there is a lot. Feel free to rewind this Friday Reds. I will put it on YouTube as soon as I can this week. In the meantime, I have to head out, check out the cruising, if it's happening at all, if it's restored fully here in Modesto, California, downtown. Just go visit it real quick. And God bless everyone, and hopefully Lahaina gets restored. God willing, we all help, donate, and restore Lahaina and little parts of PA, I believe. And if I ever get back there, because I haven't been there in Lahaina since 33 years ago. Was that 1990? Whew. But my spiritual heart, my spiritual soul is 33 years old. That's how old my heart and soul is. Ever since my soulmate, my old soulmate, left me. My old spiritual soulmate. But I believe. I hope you guys believe, and I hope you enjoy this ministry, the Garden of Eden, Friday Reds ministry, and we'll see you again. And God bless you all. Aloha. Mahalo. Salamat. Sheshe. Thank you. Bye.